Hi, dear children. Do you know the poem that influenced our first Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru the most? He had written 4 lines from a poem in his diary, and those 4 lines were always there on his table till his death. Do you know which are those lines? They are 4 simple lines from a poem. The name of the poem is Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening. Shall I recite those lines? The woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep, and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. These lines always reminded him of his responsibilities as a leader of this big democratic nation, India. In life, we may have lovely temptations to deviate us from our aims. Our passions, interests, and our hobbies may tempt us to deviate from the main goal. As children, you also have your own interests, hobbies, and passions. But your main duty must be your studies. Don't deviate from your main duty. Focus on your primary aim. That is the meaning of those 4 lines. It is relevant to every individual. Everyone, from a prime minister to a peasant, gets a beautiful message about life from those simple lines. Do you know the poet behind these lines? His name is Robert Lee Frost. Robert Frost is a great American poet. I hope all of you are familiar with this name. You might have learned at least one poem written by Frost, I'm sure. The lovers of poetry gave him a place among great English poets like Wordsworth and Keats. In Frost's poems, we see nature. The background of his poems always set with a field, farmhouse or forest. In almost every poem of Frost, we read about farming, fruits and trees. Frost's family occupation was farming. Like his father, he also did farming. It influenced his writings too. And so, Robert Frost is also known as farmer poet. He picturized simple life of village people in his poems. We can imagine the life of villagers in 19th century America from Frost's poems. The readers can enjoy the beauty of calm and quiet villages, roads and woods of that period. At the same time, there are human characters in his poems through whom he conveyed his thoughts, feelings and attitudes towards life. Let's go back to the poem that influenced many like Nehru. Stopping by woods on a snowy evening. In the beginning of the poem, we see a traveler going on a horse cart enjoying the scenic beauty on a snowy evening. Along with the traveler, the readers also enjoy the beauty of nature. Frost allures his readers to a delightful experience. The beautiful atmosphere gives happiness to the reader. The words are also simple, that one can easily understand it. But towards the end of the poem, the poet creates a twist to this delightful mood. When we read those last lines, from the delightful trance-like mood, we are shaken down to the reality. He reminds us of life. This peculiar characteristic made Frost a philosopher. His poems begins with delight and ends in wisdom. This quality we can see in almost all his poems. Now I hope you got important common features of Frost's poems. He was born in 1874 at San Francisco. Before he reaches his teenage, he lost his father. And in that period, he started writing poems. He published his first poem, My Butterfly, when he was only 20. In his autobiographical poem, The Road Not Taken, Frost says about selecting his career of a poet. Traditionally, they were farmers. He had opportunities to become a teacher, but he preferred the risky career of a poet. It was not profitable then, but his choice of becoming a poet made him a great person of America. Frost received Pulitzer Prize 4 times in his lifetime. In 1924, he received his first Pulitzer Prize, and again in 1931, in 1937 and 1943, he got Pulitzer Prizes. He was called American Bard and Poet Laureate of Vermont. He left this world in 1963, but he lives in the heart of his readers. Now, we are going to enjoy and learn a poem written by Frost in the second unit. The second unit is titled as Heights of Harmony. Harmony is a state of being together in a group, maintaining peace and happiness without losing one's individuality or uniqueness. In a society, we need harmony. That means, though everyone has their own individuality, opinions and principles, they must agree with the common interest and should not break peace in the society. How can we reach the height or the peak of harmony? We need only 2 factors to lead a harmonious life in a society. The first one is tolerance. What is tolerance? It simply means accepting everyone and respecting their individuality. Accept the fact that people have different opinions and don't force them to follow your principles, your opinions and attitudes. As we think our attitude is right, others also think theirs as right. The second factor we need to live a harmonious life is fraternity. Consider everyone as our brothers and sisters. Or consider we all are children of Mother Earth. In the poem Mending Wall, Frost speaks about the importance of a harmonious life with fraternity and tolerance. Mending Wall is a perfect example of a typical Frost poem. It begins in delight and ends in wisdom. And also we can see 2 farmers and their fields in the poem to prove Frost's identity as a farmer poet. Again, before we enter the poem, just think about the title, Mending Wall. What does the title suggest? The word mending means repairing. So mending wall means repairing a wall. Somebody is repairing a wall or thinking about repairing a wall. Anyhow, the wall should be repaired. That is the theme of the story depicted in the poem. Here, the wall divides 2 fields or 2 farms. The poet easily attracts the readers into the poem by telling the story of 2 neighbors and a wall between them. Very happily, the readers enjoy the story of villagers and a stone wall between them. But as we proceed with our reading, we feel the theme is not as simple as a wall between 2 fields. While going through the conversation between 2 neighbors, we are forced to think about our attitudes and principles. Astonishingly, we realize the poet is talking about his own concept about fraternity and tolerance through the words of the speaker in the poem. Though the poem is written in 1914, it is still relevant, or I should say it's more relevant today. After reading the poem twice, we must come back to the title. Then we will see a magic. The title gets another meaning. To see that magic, we must read the poem first. Dear children, at home, you read the poem silently 2 or 3 times. Try to enjoy the beauty of the country life. Try to understand the poem and write your own interpretations of the poem in your notebook. Dear children, are you ready to enjoy the poem Mending Wall by Robert Frost? Before we start, bring a beautiful picture of an American village into your mind. Don't think of a village with huge buildings, flyovers, and 8-track roads. But imagine a village of the late 19th century in US. In those days, the country was less populated. Most of the villagers were farmers and they had acres of farms or fields. Imagine a beautiful farm with apples, birches, plums, and all sorts of fruits. Wow, what a beautiful sight! Imagine another farm with beautiful trees like pine and maple. Eki, it's a feast to our eyes, isn't it? Got the picture in your mind? This is the background of our poem, a very beautiful background. Suppose these two farms are owned by two neighbors. Though they are neighbors, their houses are not very close or adjacent ones. Why? Didn't I tell you in those days they had acres of land and their houses would be somewhere in the field, usually in the middle of the field. These neighbors don't see often. Now think of a boundary wall in between their lands. It's not a concrete wall as we see today, but just a wall made of rock pieces. Rock pieces are put like one on another to make it a wall. There is no cementing or concreting in between the rocks to make it strong. Then what happens? The rocks often get misplaced or fall down. As their houses are far away from this boundary wall, the neighbors cannot see the wall or find out the reason behind the broken wall. But at least once in a year, the two neighbors discover it as broken and repair it. Now, this is the background of the poem. I know now you see two beautiful fields, one with apples and other fruits, and the other with pine and other beautiful trees, and a broken wall in between these two fields. Are you ready to watch these neighbors? How are they going to mend the wall? Will they talk to each other? If they talk, what will be their topic of conversation? I don't want to make you wait anymore. Let's read the poem. Mending Wall by Robert Frost. Something there is that doesn't love a wall, that sends a frozen groundswell under it and spills the upper boulders in the sun and makes gaps even two can pass abreast. One of the neighbors is the speaker in the poem. The entire poem is from his point of view. He says there is something that doesn't love a wall. This something may be nature itself, or it may be God, the Creator. That something or somebody makes a quake under the wall that makes the rock pieces on the top of the wall fall down. When the rock pieces fall down, it makes gaps in the wall. Through these gaps, two people can pass side by side. The work of hunters is another thing. I have come after them and made repair where they would have left not one stone on a stone, but they would have the rabbit out of hiding to please the yelping dogs. The second reason for the gaps or holes in the wall is the work of hunters. To please their barking dogs, hunters catch the rabbits from their hiding places. In their attempt of rabbit hunt, they dislocate the boulders and often make them fall down. The speaker says he usually come after the hunters and repair the wall. Otherwise, the hunters wouldn't have left any stone in the wall. The gaps, no one has seen them made or heard them made, but at spring mending time we find them there. I let my neighbor know beyond the hill, and on a day we meet to walk the line and set the wall between us once again. The speaker says, even though the nature or the hunters may be the reason behind the broken wall, no one has seen them or heard them breaking the wall. But during spring season, The speaker or his family members find the gaps in the wall. Spring season was considered as mending time for the farmers then. The second neighbor is living beyond the hill, and so the speaker, the first neighbor, informs him about the shattered wall. They decide a time to mend the wall, and on that particular day they meet on the borderline, and together they set the wall between them once again. We keep the wall between us as we go, to each the boulders that have fallen to each. And some are loaves, and some so nearly balls. We have to use a spell to make them balance. Stay where you are until our backs are turned. We wear our fingers rough with handling them. Oh, just another kind of outdoor game, one on a side. How do these neighbors mend the wall? They do not cross their border. They walk along their side of the wall. As they walk, they place the fallen boulders properly one on another in the wall. As there is nothing to fix one rock piece on another, it's a tough time for both the neighbors. Moreover, the rock pieces are of different shapes. Some are like loaves of bread and some others are like balls. How can they fix these boulders in a wall without cementing or concreting? Speaker humorously says they have no other way than chanting a spell or mantra to make the different shaped boulders balance in the wall without falling. Stay where you are until our backs are turned. That is the mantra they used to chant. Taking and placing the rocks again and again, their palms and fingers became rough. The difference in size and shape of the rocks makes it tougher. It consumes time as well as energy. But as the farmers are hardworking, they do not get tired of mending. They take it as an outdoor game. To complete the wall, staying one on a side is like an outdoor task in a game show. But in the same line, there is another sentence. It comes to little more. The poem carries 45 lines. Here ends the first part of the poem. In a delightful mood, we readers can enjoy the story of a wall and two neighbors till the middle of the poem. In this 22nd line, the poet hints it comes to little more. That is, this poem is not just a funny game of mending, it is a little more serious. And in the 23rd line, that is the middle line of the poet reveals his thought or concept about the wall through the words of the speaker. There lies the turning point or change of tone in the poem. Let's wind up the video here. The next video, we shall understand more about mending wall. Thank you.